Hey there, everyone. I am coming to you today to talk about how you can quieten that inner critic that's potentially holding you back from getting yourself out there as your own brand, and how you can really use these tips to help you shake off that inner critic, get out there and have a successful personal brand business. And that's even if you are scared of the camera. I think just you might not know it, but I used to be, still do deep down, I guess, think that I'm terrible on camera. I think I sound awful. I think I look awful. I have been a camera phobe for most of my life. And, I realized that a couple of years ago when I was starting this business, and the business is me, that if I was going to sell anything, people needed to get to know me. They needed to see me. They needed to hear me. And I also realized that what I think about myself is probably not what most people are thinking when they are listening or watching to me. So that, I guess, in itself at first is the biggest thing to get straight in your mind. You are your own worst critic. When you're looking at yourself in photos, in pictures, if you listen to yourself, you probably will cringe and you think, I don't want to put that out there. That's not me. That's not the real me. Or, it's not how I envisage myself sounding or looking. But to somebody else, that probably is actually how you sound and look. And while we might not like it ourselves, the main thing is that we're not doing this for ourselves. I'm not doing this video for me. I'm not doing it because I want to look at me or listen to me. In fact, I usually don't watch my own videos at all. I don't even watch the replay. I don't edit them. I do them live and I publish them, and then it's just done. It's just me talking to you, and there's no filter. There's no mistakes edited out. It's just me. It's raw me. And by that, it means that I don't have to get into this place where I'm trying to cut things out or I'm trying to perfect myself to be something that I think I need to be. I'm just being me, and I'm giving that content to you. And this is the same thing that I really want you to take on board, because when you're doing something as a business and putting some content out there, that they're not there to look at you or listen to you and thinking about how you sound or what you're wearing that day. They're actually listening to what you have to say. So the most important thing really is to be thinking about your audience and to be thinking, I'm here today to serve them. I'm here to serve you. I'm not here to, put my face out on social media. It's not about my face being there. It's actually about what I have to say. And my face is there because we all like to deal with people. People like people. We are drawn to people more so than we're drawn to something that's just an object. So while it might be hard to do every single post as a photo, because you might just feel like it's way too much and you don't have enough photography, mix it in with some graphics and that's fine. But it is so important to get yourself out there on your platforms, on your website, because it's you that people connect with. It's not your clever designs or what your graphic designer is able to produce. So I think that's the first thing. We really have to just realize that we're all people. Everybody's different, and no one really cares so much like you do what you look like or sound like. So, I guess put that aside and think, I'm just going to do this for them, and I'm going to post it and not look at it. That's what I do, and it's definitely worked a treat. Bit of practice also helps, because I gave myself a challenge that I would do a live video on my Facebook page every week. I can't remember exactly when I started. It might have been the start of this year, or it might have been last year, but I have kept that up. I think there might have been a week where I might have missed it here or there, but I've pretty much done a live video at least once a week. And just by, giving myself that goal, that helps you to think, okay, well, I'm just going to show up, and I've always got something to say, so I'm going to say something that my audience is really looking for. I'm talking about this today because I have seen a lot of people posting when they join my group, so whether it was being my group coaching program or even my free Facebook group, My Tribe, a lot of people say, I don't really know how to get myself out there. I don't know how to find my audience or find my people. And this is something that you can do, especially if you have a business where it's you that you're selling. That is whether you think about yourself as a personal brand or maybe as a thought leader or I don't know, I guess the word influencer probably isn't as appropriate here in this space that we're in, because it's more about we're not there to influence, we're actually there as a thought leader, talking about our expertise. So these tips are for you. Now, because you are your brand, when you're thinking about what is your brand, how should you be portrayed, the old way of doing it, which you would have done as a business brand, would be to think about what will connect the best with your ideal customer. But if you are your own brand, the worst thing you could do is try to morph yourself into something else because you think that that's what your ideal customer will like. If you are authentically you and your ideal customers are authentically themselves, they will be connected to you. You will have a connection there because you've decided on who your ideal customer is based on who you want to work with. And they will likewise be connected to you because you're their type of person. And if they don't, they're not your ideal customer. So it doesn't really matter. You don't have to be liked by everybody who's fits sort of, some of your target market criteria. There's definitely going to be people who love you and are really connected to you, and there'll be people in there who don't. And that's fine. You do not need every single one of them to like you in order to have your successful business. So your brand, how do you figure out what it should be, how it should look, how it should sound? When it is yourself, you need to think about yourself. So, what is something that is core to you? What do you love? What would portray you and yourself? So for example, you might think about what would be your values, like that you live by and work by. And then colors, it might be colors that you love yourself. There may be colors that link really well with those values and with your personality. So it's kind of just getting really dirtily honest with yourself about who you really are, what your values are, what your personality is like. And things like colors and fonts can really be just what you personally like, because obviously that's going to help portray you as authentically as possible. It's really as simple as that. So it's so much easier for you when you have a personal brand than it might be when you have a business brand and you've really got any color you like to choose from. But I would definitely recommend you do you, and people will be drawn to you because that is who you are. Now the next, I guess, real tip is in your writing. So when you are writing, when you write yourself, you'll probably write in your own voice and style, and that is perfectly fine. But as your business grows and as you might be more drawn into doing the things that would be best for you to do that nobody else can do, you might find there are times where you outsource parts of your marketing and people might start writing for you. Now the easiest way to outsource is to, I guess, create a bit of a list or a style of how you sound, words that you use, words that you definitely don't use, and phrases that you don't use, so that your external contractors can really take on the flavor of your personal style and how you like to write. They may never be quite as good as the real thing, but you definitely want anything that's going out under your name to sound like you. You don't want it to sound like someone else. And just to give you a really funny story, I guess one of the things that prompted this live today was I did a post on Instagram early this morning that was talking, a bit in line with this topic, like, are you really showing up as the real you? And I had someone DM me after that post, and it was really funny because what they're saying in the DMs was very clearly some offshore, not very good English speaking person. But when I looked at the profile, they are English speaking and they write really well, and they clearly have quite a good style, and it looks like they've just outsourced a lot of their social media. Either that or they've been hacked into and someone's taken over their account and is randomly DMing people, which I hope hasn't happened because that would be a real disaster for them. But it was funny because it was just so obviously not them. And so straight away, it's fake. It's not that person messaging me. It was a fake outreach. Whether they intended it and they've outsourced it or if someone's taken over, either way, straight away I knew it wasn't them because of the words that this person has used in their message to me. So it's really something to look out for, and to think about carefully when you're selecting somebody to write as you, or to whether it's in emails, whether it's social media, if they're writing website copy, to not write in their voice but to write in your voice. And so you need to work with them to help define what your voice is, what words you use, what your own style is, so that it comes across in the right way, and that people, because it's so obvious when something is fake. It's really, really obvious. There may be people who are less tuned into it than maybe I am, because I just come from that background. I've written so much copy over the years, but honestly, I think people in general have a really good fake barometer, and they can tell when something isn't real. So that is my advice to you. I hope that this has been a useful little chat. Please let me know if you have any questions about branding, or about talking as, in your authentic voice, or maybe even some tips about how you get on, or just start doing some of these things like live videos. It's really not rocket science. All I did was start doing it, and know that, if it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to really matter at all. So I think, often it's just ourselves. We've got to get over ourselves. We've got to get over those things that are holding us back, and, that real need to be perfect, that need to feel like, oh, if it's not perfect, it's not professional. Well, that's just nonsense. People much rather buy from a real person and buy from someone who they are feeling like there's a really good connection with, as opposed to buying from something that's too polished and perfect, because it just, again, it feels like it's not real, and you just wonder, well, what are they really like? Because that's way too polished. So yes, I'm giving you permission to just get out there, be yourself. What I do with things like this is I write a few notes, but then I talk, as you can probably tell. I just talk from the heart. I don't follow a script. I just talk, and I hope to give a bit of advice that people can follow and take on board. But I make it easy. Otherwise, if you make things too hard for yourself and put too many rules in place that it has to be this and has to be that, you're never going to get it done, which means that you're never going to get it out there. It's better to be done and to be real and a bit raw than to be, perfect and polished and maybe take you 10 times longer to get it out there. So those are my tips for you if you have a personal brand, or you're like a thought leader kind of brand business, whether you're maybe a consultant or a coach, somebody who is helping others with your knowledge and your expertise. These are my tips for you, help you do that better. So hope it's been useful. I'll check in with you guys again next week. Okay, bye.